morning, everyone. Before I begin my homily, I just want to invite our non-Catholic students and faculty to join us in receiving ashes today. And the reason is because ashes are a sacramental. Okay, they're not a sacrament, they are a sacramental. And so anyone may receive that blessing of whether it's holy water, which is a sacramental, or a blessing, you may receive ashes as well. So today we begin the discipline of Lent. And sometimes people say, oh, here we go, Lent. And they become saddened by the fact that now we are in the Lenten season for 40 days. But really we should be encouraged by Lent. We should not have a gloomy face or a gloomy disposition when it comes to the season of Lent, because really Lent is about springtime. It's about growth. It's about renewal. Just as you know that in order for a plant to grow, it has to be pruned. And sometimes pruning can be harsh. Sometimes pruning can hurt. But in the end, after that act of pruning, the tree begins to grow. And it blossoms. And the same is true for us. Lent is a time of pruning. Pruning of our hearts. And we might not like it to begin with, but in the end, we grow from it. There's a springtime in our lives. And we're grateful to God for giving us this time of pruning. And so, of course, we always say, okay, today's Ash Wednesday, today's the start of Lent. What am I going to give up? What am I going to give up? Now, is it going to be the proverbial, oh, I'll give up chocolate. Oh, I'll give up, some dessert or food. Does that really prune us? Does that really make us grow? For some it might. For most it does not. So we need to think of what is going to make me grow. What is going to make me grow in my faith? We heard in the gospel acclamation today, if you hear the voice of the Lord, harden not your hearts. What's going to remove that hardness of heart so that Jesus can enter and walk with you for these 40 days? Think of your greatest temptation and give that up. That is Lent. That is pruning. Not the proverbial chocolate or dessert, but what's going to make you better. Maybe it's gossip. Maybe it's lying. Maybe it's swearing. Maybe it's you are way too involved with Twitter or Facebook or social media in general. Maybe you give up Twitter for Lent. The world will not end. Maybe you give up Facebook. Maybe you give up music in the car. And you just have that silence. Maybe you don't gossip. Maybe you respect your parents in a greater way. Maybe you don't talk back to them. Whatever it might be, you know yourself. You know your greatest temptations. What's going to make you grow during this Lent? What's going to spiritually prune your heart so that you can come closer to Jesus? Because that's ultimately what Lent is about. It's springtime, it's growing closer to God and to follow Him. And so, in addition to giving something up, we need to replace it with something. Because when we give something up, there's going to be an emptiness. And Satan is going to tempt us even more to fill that void. And so, what are we going to put in its place? Maybe it's coming to daily Mass, because we all know it's a requirement to go every Sunday and holy days of obligation. So that's not really gaining anything. You need to be there anyway, every Sunday and every holy day of obligation at Mass. So maybe the addition is coming to daily Mass at 7:20, getting up early, living the heroic moment, not setting the snooze button. Maybe it's frequent confession, going even more than you normally do. Maybe it's praying the Stations of the Cross, which I'm going to implement beginning this Friday, and look in the bulletin or the daily announcements for more information, okay, when it will be. Maybe it's coming to Stations of the Cross, walking with our Lord on his path to Calvary. Then, of course, we all know that we give up meat today, Good Friday, and all Fridays of Lent. That we sacrifice that because most of us are carnivores. Most of us like to eat meat. There's not a whole lot of vegans in this world. We all like to eat meat, and so that's why we give it up, because it is a sacrifice. No, it is not a sacrifice to say, well, Father said no meat, so let's go to Red Lobster for lobster. No. Okay? I'm talking your parish fish fry. I'm talking about, fish that you would have somewhere that maybe it's a penance, because that's what it's supposed to be. Or if you don't like fish, I understand. Maybe it's the cheese pizza or the macaroni and cheese or peanut butter and jelly, whatever it might be. Okay? So no meat today, no meat Good Friday, and no meat during the Fridays of Lent. Okay? Why do we do this? Because it's a penance. We offered up. Okay? It's a little suffering. Actually, the church never took away no meat of Fridays during the whole year. Because before the Second Vatican Council, no meat 52 weeks out of the year. Then everyone thought, that's removed. We can eat meat during all the Fridays that are not Lent. No. What the rule says is that if you do eat meat during Friday, that's not Lent, you're supposed to do some other form of penance. Do people do that? That's the question. But we're focusing on Lent today. And so we make sure that no meat Friday, today, or during Good Friday. And also today, one large meal and two smaller meals that do not equal a big meal. So we fast. And of course, that is going to be different for every person. But we hold back, we offer up that little suffering today. Okay? So, let us be mindful as we begin these 40 days of Lent. It's a journey. And I hope and pray that we are better for it when we reach Holy Week, when we walk with our Lord to Calvary, and when we celebrate his resurrection. That we are more disciplined in our walk with Christ. So think about what you're going to give up. Don't make it impossible, but don't make it too easy either. And what are you going to put in your life? What's going to make a greater impact on you? Because, as we heard from the prophet Joel in the first reading, and this is all what we must do, and this is the reason for Lent, return to me with your whole heart.